Hope we're working. Hello, and of course, that's right on time. Hello, and welcome to the Flipping and Wholesaling Houses in New York show. I am Michael Pinter, where I teach you how to start flipping and wholesaling houses in New York, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. I love those notifications. Okay, so I got a question: how to get money to flip a house. So first of all, I'm going to explain what flipping a house means, because it means different things to different people, right? And at the end, we're going to talk about something different called wholesaling and how to sort of get money for that, or whether you need money for that. So in the industry, a flip means a buy, fix, and flip. That means I'm buying something, I'm doing some significant renovation to it, and then I'm selling it. So how do you get money for it? So the easiest way to get money for it, if you have some money, is to get a hard money loan. So that means a loan where they will give you as much as 90% of your purchase price and 100% of the construction, assuming you meet certain criteria. Every lender is different. Some require good credit, some don't. They will usually lend you up to 65 or 70% of the after repaired value. Sorry. So the way a hard money lender works is you're gonna tell them what you're gonna do. I'm gonna put a new kitchen. I'm gonna put a new bathroom. They're gonna send an appraiser out there, and they're gonna give you a subject to appraisal, which means the appraisal is subject to you doing those repairs. And they're gonna say the property is gonna be worth X when it's done, and they want to lend you up to 65, 70. Somebody's leaving us 75% of that value, but they also want to see you have some money in the deal. So they can want a minimum of 10% of the purchase price plus closing costs, which in New York are significant. If it's maybe your first deal or your credit and you have issues, each lender is different. They might want you to put as much as 30% into it, but talk to one of 10 million local hard money lenders to find out how much they'll give you. So that's for most of the money. The rest of the money can come from you. It can come from anyone who you can borrow from. Sorry, I don't know what's wrong with my throat. What I did when I started is I took a hard money loan on every deal, and then I took an equity partner in where I gave them a split of the profits. It got me going, but the truth is, every time I sold a deal, I had to pay out this huge interest bill to the lender, and then a huge chunk of the profits to the equity partner. Again, if it's what you need, then do it. But there are better ways to do it. If you can get one private money lender to lend you all the money for the deal, which is very easy outside of New York where deals are smaller. In New York, deals are bigger, so you're going to need, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 for a deal. But if you have the money, it's much better if you can borrow that from one person, and you will just pay interest to that one person. Or if you're getting an equity partner, you can pay them just a flat rate of return on their money. Those are better deals, but again, I don't know what situation you're in, and you got to do what you got to do to get started. I got slaughtered the first time I bought a property. I think I paid 16% and 6 points or something like that, 14% and 6 points. But it got me started, and I made money on the deal. So don't dwell on the terms of the loan as much as just getting the deal done. If 1% in interest here or 1 point here should not make the difference between a deal working and a deal not working. If it does, then your deal is way too tight. So that's how you get a big chunk of the money. You can also get private money, as we discussed. There's hard money, there's private money, there's your money. You can borrow from friends and family. If you have a retirement account, any retirement account, I'm talking about a SEP IRA, an IRA, a Roth IRA, any retirement account, you can absolutely have that retirement account move to a self-directed company. There's tons of them. You can just Google self-directed IRA. For a few $100, they'll move you into self-directed account, and that money is allowed to be used to invest. So you can buy a property. It can lend money to an entity that's buying a property. That's a great way to use your retirement funds on something. I highly recommend doing that. And that's really how to get money to flip a house. There's a million hard money lenders. You can literally just Google hard money lender in your area. Now, there is something else called wholesaling, which people say is flipping a contract, they might say, and I do this a lot. I buy a property, I'll go into contract, and then I may or may not assign that contract to somebody else who will do the work if I can make money on it and I don't want to close on the property. I have the ability to close on properties, but sometimes I choose not to. And for that, the only money you really need is the deposit, the EMD, earnest money deposit, which in most states, in 49 states, is minimal. $1,000, $500, 1%. In New York, it's typically 10%. So you need to be careful when you talk to a seller and you go to contract about how much of a deposit you want to put down. and you cannot really borrow that money from any lending company because it's not really secured by anything. Understand, when a hard money lender lends you money on a property, they're secured by a first lien mortgage on the property. That's their collateral. A contract is not collateralized by anything. So if you just walk away from it, then whoever's lending you the money is out of the money, is lost their money. So there are ways, if you want to wholesale and you don't have any money, to partner up with somebody like me. Um, I JV a lot of wholesale deals. I'm showing one today, where the person who brought the deal is going to get half of the, if I assuming we wholesale it and we don't close on it, is going to get half of the assignment fee. And if we do close on it, then it's usually 60-40 in my favor. Now, that is a very good way to do it because here's the truth that nobody tells you. The truth that nobody tells you is that you're not going to know what a deal is right away. You're really not. You know, we think when we get into this business that we're going to make calls and most people are going to answer, which is not true. Most of the numbers are going to be wrong. And most people are going to want to talk to us, which is not true. And most people are just going to be desperate. You know, I bought a list. This list has got to be desperate. Everybody there is motivated. And that's not what's going to happen. People are going to have numbers in mind. They're going to have payoffs that they have to pay off, let's say a mortgage. They're going to have a number that they need to, let's say, go somewhere else. And they're going to say, I want $300,000 for the house. And you, when you're starting, are not going to have a clue whether that's a good deal or not. Sometimes it's a home run deal, and sometimes it's not a deal. So by partnering up with somebody like me, you get the incredibly valuable benefit of me telling you, this is a deal if we can get it under 275. This is not a deal if we have to pay much more than that. And, you know, I've seen people say, oh, you don't need to know anything about real estate. You just look at the Zillow value. Zillow does not work in our area, I'd say 20 to 30% of the time. I've seen Zillow off by $1 million. That's right. I have seen Zillow off by $1 million. Okay, I was about to buy something in East Hampton. Zillow value was $2 million. I went into it for $1 million. Thought it was a smoking hot deal. I had a title problem and I got my deposit back. The deal ended, the property ended up selling for like $800,000. Zillow was off by a mile. And we have a very diverse inventory in New York, right? We have properties built in the 1800s. We have properties built last year. And we have huge properties. We have one city like Massapequa that has 4 different school districts in it, right? There's a huge difference between Amityville School District and Plain English School District. So Zillow doesn't know that, right? And Zillow, just to show you how off they are, just screwed up and is going to write down $600 million in losses on properties that they bought and paid way too much money for. So you can't use Zillow or Trulia when you're comping out a property. The only real acceptable 2 ways of comping out a property are the MLS, the multiple listing service, which is by far the best, and then PropStream, which is probably 85% as good. And it used to not be good, it's better, but also I've seen errors on it, right? And those are really the only 2 ways. If you're comping out properties looking at Trulia and Zillow, I got to tell you, you're really throwing darts while you're blindfolded. It is a mistake. So even with that information, the MLS information, you still may not know if it's a deal, right? Somebody tells you they want $300,000 per house, sounds good. Looks like houses are selling for $400,000 or $500,000. But what if it needs $200,000 in work? Is that a deal? It's not. So using somebody like me to bounce a deal off of is a good idea. Now, before you send me your deals, do not ever send me a deal where you haven't spoken to the owner. And do not ever send me a deal that's listed for sale on the MLS, because 99.9% of the time that's not going to be a deal. And if you just heard about it or you saw it, I don't want to know about it until you speak to the owner, right? The only reason I'm going to give you 50% of the commission is because you've spoken to the owner and you've made that connection. I don't need to go spend money on marketing to meet that owner. If I've had people call me and go, oh, I saw a house, it looks like it's in terrible shape, it looks like a great deal. Yeah, I'm not. If I have to spend the time to find the owner, I don't want to give you 50% of the commission, right? So, and guess what? I don't want to go looking for crappy looking houses either. I have better data than that. So if you've spoken to an owner, they've told you they want to sell, they've given you information, and you want to run the deal by me, I'm happy to help you with it and tell you what is a good price to pay. I've done that 100 times. And I'll be happy to do more because it saves me money because I don't have to spend money on the marketing. But that is basically how to get money to flip a house. So I hope this was helpful. If you want to know all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in learning more about a course I teach, a course I have that teaches how to do what I do, go to howtoflipnewyorkcourse.com. If you're interested in finding out about one-on-one coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any channel, please give me a thumbs up. And please keep the comments coming. I post 5 times a week, and sometimes I run out of things to say, so keep the comments coming. They don't have to even be about the video that you're watching. I'm happy to answer any comments and reply to them right away. Thank you very, very much for watching.